Hey everybody, it's Arnie here, and today we're playing with the Big Block PowerPack. We're going to start her up, and I'm going to show you some of the key differences in the secondary drive clutch that you need to be aware of when you put together your Big Block PowerPack. So with that, let's get this thing started, and let's see how it works, and we'll show you the differences between the proper secondary clutch configuration and the improper one. So let's see if she fires. Okay, well, we're just about to fire up the Big Block PowerPack, and I'm just looking at the primary clutch, and something looks a little bit off here. Look at this. That does not look good. That is poor manufacturing right there, and that is reject. That one will be used for parts because I don't think there's any straightening out of that sheath there. So that's in the parts bin. So fortunately we got another clutch, and we're going to try that one. Okay, so this is the proper orientation for the secondary drive clutch. And you can see that the ramp of the sliding sheave is on this side of the cone, and that has the proper spring configuration in there as well. So we're gonna start this up, and then you're gonna see how it shifts out, and then we're gonna put on the wrong clutch, and you'll see how quickly that engages once it's under power. So let's start her up, and you can see what's going on here. Okay, so that's the proper clutch. Now we're going to throw this clutch on here, and this is, as you can see, other than the button color is different, it is opposite of this one, and let's see how quickly that one turns on. Alright, you can see that it opens a lot faster. And if you were under any load, that secondary would snap open right away because it's going to open in the direction of the belt drive, and you don't want that. You want the spring tension to be opposite the rotation of the belt. So let's put that other clutch on, then we're going to break these secondaries down and show you how to do that. Okay, so here we go. All these engines, if you're looking at it from this side, they're going to spin counterclockwise, and I can show you how that is just by pulling this engine over. Okay, so there's a counterclockwise rotation, so it's going to pull the top of the belt in this direction. Okay, now the way that your spring needs to be orientated is to resist that rotation. Okay, so we're going to look at the proper clutch setup here. Okay, so this clutch is the exact same as this one on here. So you're going to see this is a fixed sheave because it's all riveted to the shaft, and then this is called the movable sheave. Okay, so this movable sheave is going to rotate opposite the direction of the belt, okay, in this orientation. So you can see that. So it's going to try to constantly resist that rotation, and then that's what gives you your proper shifting performance. This clutch, this is not designed to go this way because it doesn't move that way. It doesn't move opposite the clutch. It actually moves forward when it's in this orientation. But if you flip it around now, and you got this cam and spring pointed away from the engine, you're going to see that now it resists the rotation of the belt because it's orientated this way. Okay, so it all depends if this is out or this is in, and that's what you need to determine to figure out which is the exact right spring that you need in your secondary drive. Okay, so the 40 series clutches are very, very versatile. You can run them in multiple different configurations. You just have to make sure that you get the appropriate spring and cam position on your secondary clutch. The other thing you need to know is although they got some flexibility in their mounting, you should always have the clutches in the same orientation relative to one another. So you can see here we've got the primary clutch and we've got the secondary clutch. And if you mounted this secondary opposite of this one and you left the primary here, you'd have an awful lot of belt deflection, and you want to avoid that. So the way that these clutches work is this is your fixed sheave and this is your fixed sheave. So the primary driver is going to start pushing this belt up and over to the right side here from your view, and the secondary is also going to shift over to the right side as it travels down this fixed pulley here. So this position relative to each other is the way you want it. So you want the bell on one side and you want the spring basket and cam on the other. Okay, so if you do anything different there, you're going to get a lot of belt deflection, and your belt's going to kind of look like it's at an angle when it's under load, which is not good for belt life or power transmission. So that's something to consider. But like I said, if you needed to put this this wind here, the spring basket and cam on this side, because of whatever reason you need a clearance, you theoretically should also flip your primary clutch so that the bell is toward the engine. These don't care whether they're spinning forward or backward, so that doesn't matter at all, but it does matter that you've got the proper relationship between your primary and your secondary clutch, and this is what it looks like right here. Okay, so we've got two secondary 40 series CVT driven clutches right here, and one is forward rotation and one is reverse rotation, and you can see that they open opposite to one another. Okay, so what we need to do is we need to kind of disassemble these guys and swap out a few components. The other key difference is just the diameter of the shaft. This one's like 1/2 inch, this one's 3/4. But the 1/2 inch has all the proper springs and things like that in there. So we're going to take these guys apart and we're going to swap some parts around here. So I'm going to show you how all that is done. So the first thing I think we're going to do is to see if we can compress this spring basket. But even before we do that, I don't know how much preload these have built into them. So what we're going to do is we're just going to put a little paint pen mark on there, and we're going to see how many times this cam is spun around the clutch, so we can put it back with the same amount of preload in the wind there. So we're going to start by just seeing if we can pop out this retainer clip. And well, actually never done this before, so I'm not sure how it's going to work. So I think I want to do this. Maybe I can get this. It's quite a bit of spring load on there. I don't want to have a flying mess of parts here, so I'm wondering if I can kind of come up with some kind of tool that I can use just to kind of hold all this stuff in position. Shouldn't be too hard to figure that out. So I think I'm going to do that, and I'm going to need that for the future anyway. So stay tuned. I'll be right back, and I'm going to pick out a magic mystery tool from my imaginary clutch box here. So stay tuned. Okay, well, several hours later, we've fabricated this clutch tool that I have not tried yet. So you'll be the first to see. And basically all this is a piece of 3/4 inch keyed bar with a 3/8 tapped stud in the middle. And it will work only for the 3/4 inch bore secondary, but that's the only one I'm using right now anyway. So If I truly need one, I'll make another one. But yeah, so the idea is you just line up the keyway, slide the clutch on, and then take this little device here, put that on, a washer and a nut. And then we should be able to torque this down, and then it's just going to push that cam basket down so we can get the clip off, and then we'll slowly release that up, and then we'll see how many winds are happening on the spring here. So let's give her a shot and see how she works. Okay, so nice, contracts the cam very well. It gives me access to the spring clip, which I just popped off just like nothing. Can't quite get that out now, but I'll get it off later. So now we're just going to release the pressure, but before we do that, I'm just going to give this a little mark here so I know where it is, and we're going to try to control the rotation of this guy as it's coming off here. So hopefully we can do that. I'll just turn this around so I can see the mark, not you. Okay, so it's almost off already. So it's just about to go over the button. So let's see. One. Oh, just one. You only have to wind this down one tower from rest, and that's it. And then you got adequate wind in there. So that's cool. So I can see now that when we put this back together, we're gonna have to clamp this down to the table because it's just gonna rotate on me. So we'll do that, and yeah, no problem. So let's just take this guy off here, see what happens. Oh, beautiful. Look at that. That's nice. That works quite nicely. Just the right height. Just enough to get a bolt on there. And there you have it. So this spring, I don't know which way it's supposed to wind, but it looks like either way, it looks like it's a right-handed spring. So we don't want a right-handed spring on the Big Block PowerPack. We want a left-handed spring, so or a counterclockwise wind. This one's a clockwise wind. Okay, so any way you look at it, you can see that it is a clockwise wind or right-hand wind. So yeah, so we want the left-hand spring, which is actually the standard rotation. So go figure. Oh, and another thing, people talk about spring colors. Well, these are opposite rotation springs, and they're both the same color. So I wouldn't put any confidence in the color. But yeah, so that's okay. So that's good. So that's ready to rock. Now this guy, we're gonna do old school because we don't have one of these tools, so we're just going to see if we can pop this clip out of here and then let her fly and see what happens here. Okay, clips off. Okay, pretty well one wind. Okay, so we're just going to take this out, and now you can see these two springs. They are different winds. They're slightly different colors, red and dark red. And this one has more coil winds per spring, but whatever, gonna use it anyway. So now we're gonna take this counterclockwise spring, and we're gonna pop it in to the clutch. I'm gonna bottom that out there, and then we're gonna take, I think it was this guy. Oh, it's only got one hole in here, so there's only one hole, but if you wanted, you could drill out those other holes. And where's that key? I didn't even see the key. Key's in there. There's a little key on the spline there. You got to keep an eye out for that guy. So now, let's get this lined up here. Okay, now I want to wind it. I want to wind it in the direction of the spring. So just one wind, I guess. Put your tool back on. Oh yeah, I'm gonna clamp it down. Let me get some clamps, and then we'll join you back in progress. Okay, I'm just gonna grab a couple C's, put those on the edge of the workbench. That's why it's nice to have ledges on your workbench so you can clamp stuff down to it instead of just building a flat box. Anyways, I digress. Now we're going to line up the keyway. So we're just going to get this guy around here. Okay, that's going to go, yeah, one full line. All right. Let's get this down here. I think we can get this started over the tower here. Oh yeah, so we'll line up the key, line the key up, and then wind that up. So that's one wind. So that's about all they had. If I wanted to do 2 winds, I could. Easy. But do I want to do that? I don't know. I could. But I think I'll just leave it. One's not that much really, so I'm going to do 2. Okay. Oop, okay, so now, okay, I learned something here. Put the C-clip on before you compress it down, because now I can't get the C-clip over the shaft, so no problem. The tool makes it easy. Very easy. Very easy. Oh shit, the stud's coming out now. No problem. Put that guy over top. Do it all over again. Yeah, so this is nice. I like it. Just get that lined up on the key. And then wind up your spring. That's 1.5 ramps over. Oh, okay. We're just going to bottom it out there. We're going to pop our C-clip back on. Done. Now we're going to release. We now have reinstalled and reorientated our secondary clutch, and now is a way to get this thing off of this device. Just flip it around. Ta-da! Look at that. So backwards shifting's quite a bit of spring tension in there now. I don't know if it had that much on this one. I'm going to test it just to see. I'm just going to pull off the belt. This guy, if I can. And then just see how much. That's got quite a bit of tension too. I think we're there. I think we're there. Yeah, I think we're good. So I'm happy with that. So this secondary clutch for the TAV 240 drive system is now PowerPack ready. So generally you can buy these just as it is. This is the standard rotation. So for most instances, you won't even have to change this. But if you gotta run this outboard, basically. So we're running this cam and spring inboard, and it's rotating this direction here. If it was like this mounted, then you would have been fine with the reverse, or the it's a right hand spring but reverse rotation. Go figure. Anyway, that's how I understand it. Maybe I'm wrong. Anyway, there you go. Now you can work on your clutch. See ya.